Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Gridiron Bangahz. I'm Jacob, and as always, I'm joined with our two other Bangahs over here, Braden and Bryson. How's it going, guys?
That was it.
How's it?
So let's get right into it then. Our Week 8 slate of games. So I guess we'll start off with the game that stood out the most to us. So we'll start with you, Bryson. Which game stood out to you?
I think no surprise here. Bengals versus 49ers. I know this was kind of one of my shot in the dark picks just to kind of screw it. And Bengals ended up getting a win. Um, Joe Burrow looking like the Joe Burrow we expected to see. And what we saw from him that Super Bowl run, starting to get back into it. We already know what Jamar Chase can do, so no surprise from them there. Team kind of was just meshed well as a whole, offensive and defensively. One of the better games from them defensively. Obviously, we know they're not one of the best defenses, but it kind of seems to be a trend where they step up in big games against big matchups and kind of drop duds and against kind of average teams, but hopefully we're seeing a little more consistency from them. And they look really good. And we know what the Niners can do this game. Brock Purdy kind of struggled a little bit. Offense kind of seemed to struggle. I mean, McCaffrey had that touchdown. That what was that, like his 17th in a row, I think. So he's having a phenomenal record breaking year, but can only do so much by yourself. Kittle, he was fairly relevant, nothing too crazy, and yeah, just Purdy, two rough interceptions. That one right at the goal line, maybe it could be a different game if they score there. Um, was on the run, linebacker kind of just got a lucky handout on it, tipped it, and it stayed close. But yeah, the 49ers defense kind of, we're seeing basically 3 games in a row here where they haven't really stepped up and made big plays and kind of have. We know what the Niners can do when their defense is working well. And I think Brock Purdy obviously plays, it's easier to play better when you're not playing from behind. So, questions again to be seen with Brock Purdy. This is that basically a third game in a row where he's kind of struggled. Um, Got to keep an eye on it. Could just be, just some rough string of games and they might turn it around. But great win from the Bengals. Definitely, I think a lot of people, I know most of us, even I did. I was just, like I said, it was just a shot in the dark pick. Most people had the Niners taking this one. Just didn't really expect them to drop 3 in a row. So definitely got to keep an eye on them. Now with this NFC race looking pretty interesting, we'll see how the tomorrow night, Monday Night Football, the Lions, if they get a win, it's definitely going to be an interesting NFC race. So got to keep an eye on them. I like seeing the Niners lose. It's very, very nice.
It's always a good day when the
Yeah.
Niners lose. Yeah, I'm on board with you on that one. Honestly, yeah, I think these last 3 weeks we're just seeing that the Niners are getting exposed, and not saying they're a bad team. It's just their formula, right? Like you said earlier in the season, is you can't turn the ball over on them, right? Like once you do, then you're kind of digging yourself in a hole. So it seems like teams are kind of figuring out their formula. It's just they heavily rely on the defense for turnovers, and it's pretty much just a running game. Other than that, if they put like a lot on Brock Purdy's shoulders, then this is kind of what we're seeing. That he's going to be struggling, and whether that's just maybe good defensive coordinators he's going up against, great defensive minds. I'll say that's a lot of it. The last 3 weeks, but I guess we'll see going forward if this is something he'll continue to struggle with, or maybe he'll improve on these. I guess coverages, notice them, and then just play better.
Hurts that the Niners keep losing to my division, though. But they want to beat us.
Oh, that's right. Wait, did they lose
Yeah.
everybody? Oh no, never mind.
We still got to play
Not for.
Baltimore.
Yeah, they put
That's right.
Ravens.
Damn. Yeah, I wish you guys beat them too. It would have been dig them in a bigger hole.
I wish we did too. It's a painful week 1.
But no, great win from the Joe Burrow and the Bengals, and then Coach Lou, good defensive mind. I don't know. Maybe we'll see a head coaching job in the near future if he continues. Keeps this up. Has been doing it at least the last 2 years, but maybe he'll get more recognition this year. But moving on to, I guess, Braden, your game of the week. What was your?
Yeah. I got Titans versus Falcons. Mr. Mayo Man showed up today. Will Levis. It started with Malik, but one fumble pulled him out. Makes sense. You got to protect the ball, especially how that offense has been going. They have not been moving the ball much, so turnovers could kill them. Yeah, Will Levis stepped in, had a great day, 4 touchdowns. First time I really saw D Hop really have himself a week this season. Huge day with 3 touchdowns as well. So like that connection between them two. Question it for next week, but it's a topic for another episode. But yeah, Will Levis look good. Finally, the what's it called? Titans finally look like they have a passing game, which is good because Derrick Henry looked like they could finally run the ball and not always get stacked boxes and have to be their pure offense and the passing game work off of it. Now they can work off each other, kind of have more balanced offense. So yeah, offensively they played great, and defense they made the stop when they needed to. Late in the game, Titans got that turnover on downs when Falcons were trying to drive and kind of I think for the win, touchdown for the win, I believe. Yeah, they were down 5. So yeah, definitely a great call. On the other side of the ball, I mean, big news is Ritter getting hurt. I kind of missed what his injury, so I'm not too sure. Gonna be out. Does it look long term?
I don't think it was. I don't think it was too serious. They held him out mainly. I mean, they held him out, right? I think he could have came back in, but they just decided to keep him out and play Heineke.
Yeah, but they got a great backup in Taylor Heineke. I mean, anyone that's watched
Yeah,
football in the last few years know his name, what he did in the playoffs, and he's always been a competent quarterback. Definitely one of the better backups in the league you can have, and he kind of looked better than Ritter today. So definitely curious on what this offense can do with him. I know they've been kind of underperforming with all the talent they have, but something to watch going forward if they stick with Heineke. If there's any surge in this offense, I think we're all hoping for because there's just so much talent on this team that you kind of just want to see their playmakers make plays because just one of the most gifted offenses, at least from the skill positions.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a quick FYI. So it looked like they thought it was a concussion. He was cleared to return, but sounded like Arthur Smith just wanted to play it safe just in case. Um, I don't know. They're saying he starts next week. So
Oh, he's back at starter.
sounded like it.
Ah,
I don't know. We could see something come
yeah.
out during the week. Maybe Heineke. They trust Heineke more. I don't know. I don't think Ritter's been playing that bad, honestly. Um, it's definitely a weird offense right now, and I don't like Arthur Smith, and I feel like we know the Falcons have a bad history of wasting talent, basically. I know Bijan had a better day today. Did have a touchdown, but yeah, I don't hate Ritter. I think he's okay. I don't love him as a quarterback, but I definitely don't think he's as bad as people make him out to be.
Yeah, I don't think he should be benched going forward. I mean, Heineke played good today, but nothing
Yeah.
to say that he should be starter moving forward.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've already worked this long with Desmond Ritter. Might as well give your young quarterback the rest of the season because
Yeah, no sense not because
yeah, it's
yeah,
not.
you're not betting
But
on Heineke for the future. You want to develop Ritter.
Want to see something spicy, man. Just want something.
Yeah, no, this was a great game. Levis, like you said, I mean, still got to wait another week to kind of see if he's anywhere close. I don't think he, puts up 4 touchdowns, but it's just whether or not he can somewhat replicate it, 1 or 2 touchdowns. This was the first game I felt like the Titans the game plan wasn't to rely on Derrick Henry.
Like they actually had a capable offense for
Yeah, this
once.
offense,
Yeah.
it actually looked like what an NFL offense should look like, and not just Derrick Henry. Run the ball with Derrick Henry and hope for the best. So
How they have looked for like the last 6 years.
exactly. So yeah, I mean, definitely. I know we wanted to have that talk of Levis versus Willis. We never really got to have it because Tannehill got kind of hurt out of the blue there, and then they were talking it was going to be a kind of split on the quarterback, and it looked like it was about to be with Willis starting, and then yeah, Levis just kind of took it away. And I think if Levis can just be decent, I don't think Tannehill, even if he comes back, I don't think Tannehill plays the rest of the year. Unless they're in like serious playoff contention and they want that vet QE, but
Yeah.
I would still run with Levis.
Yeah.
Just get him experience in the playoffs.
I definitely think that would be the smarter choice, but we know how the Titans are. We know that it's honestly might be more likely they bet on Tannehill, and then if they get knocked out of the wild card or first round or whatever, then at least
I don't know.
you got the next season to develop Levis. But
I think they stay with Levis because I don't think if Mike Vrabel makes it to the playoffs, I don't think he's on the hot seat anymore, and so he doesn't
That's
need
true.
to technically win a playoff game, and
Mhm.
he can run his rookies or run his team and
Okay,
get them that
I could see that
experience.
now that you mentioned
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah. Because Tannehill hasn't been great, so I
I
don't
mean we know
think
that.
he's
Yeah,
gonna get
we know
nod. Yeah,
Tannehill's.
so I think he'd be fine with just running Levis for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I still think Malik's in the conversation. I know Levis just had himself a day, but Levis is definitely in the driver's seat. But I still think there's a chance we can see Malik. It's only been one game, but
Yeah, I know it's too early to tell. We got to
I
see
think
him
Levis.
do it again somewhat.
Yeah, it's Levis's job to lose still.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
no,
right
for
where
sure.
we're at.
Yeah. All right. So it's going into I guess my game of the week, or call it the upset game of the week, because that's essentially what it is. The Denver Broncos upset the Chiefs. Look for the score here. My bad. Yeah, I can't find it apparently, so don't matter. Broncos 24-9.
24-9. Yeah.
See, okay, I did have it. 24-9. Yeah. So really ugly game from the Chiefs and Mahomes. I know people are probably gonna say he had the flu, but I mean, when you got the flu, you gotta step up like Jordan, right? I mean, they're calling him the goat, right? They're already calling him the goat, so he's got to step up. But okay, jokes aside, though, yeah, Broncos showed up. They were looking for revenge, obviously, trying to break that 16-game losing streak. So uh, I think both sides of the ball had a great day, especially the defense, just keeping them in check, getting sacks, getting interceptions, and really just making Mahomes uncomfortable the whole day. That's definitely how you want to beat them. And yeah, they just had their number this game. So great win from the Broncos. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's. I swear, wasn't there an injury? I'm trying to think. No, right?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, no. Maybe no. I think I'm wrong. Sorry, but no, yeah, great win from the Broncos. Chiefs have dropped 2 games this year, so I think now they're right in the thick of the conference race for a number 1 seed. I think like Dolphins, not the Bills. There's Dolphins, Jags. I think one more team. Oh, Ravens, right? All same record now.
Yeah.
I want to say
No,
that's
I
right.
think I
No,
think
not really.
Bills are behind.
Yeah, no
No,
I
Bills
no,
think
are
not,
Bills
not
have
the
behind.
three
Bills.
losses. Yeah.
Not the Bills. The other teams, right?
Yeah, Ravens, Jags.
Yeah, I think Ravens are.
Yeah, Ravens, Jags,
Dolphins.
Dolphins,
Dolphins.
Chiefs
Yeah.
all have 2 losses. Chiefs have 2?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chiefs have 2
you're
now.
right. Yeah. So
Chiefs have 2
Chiefs,
now.
Ravens, Dolphins, Jags. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an
So they're
interesting,
all.
definitely an interesting AFC race.
Yeah. This was probably one that I'm hoping they wouldn't drop, but unfortunately they did. So yeah, that's all I got for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think just looking at it for the Chiefs, I feel like this is a game you're okay with losing at the end of it. Like obviously, go into it expecting to lose, but like looking at, long term, I feel like they can live with this loss. Mahomes, if he was, genuinely had the flu, obviously that's going to impact, performance. Obviously, there's some players out there. I mean, there's nobody like Michael Jordan, but um, they want to start calling him the GOAT. Yeah, he probably would have had to popped off this game with the flu, but obviously you're not going to expect him to do great if he was genuinely had like an actual flu, because that's going to hurt you. But I think the Broncos, they didn't look great by all means. They didn't play amazing. Just Chiefs kind of just dropped a dud on it, even with Mahomes' struggles. I definitely think if that punt hadn't been fumbled and recovered right there, this might have been a different game. You could even make the argument, hey, Taylor Swift wasn't in the building. I'm sure that narrative's going to come out. They take their first loss with Taylor Swift, or after Taylor showing up, they finally lose when she's not there. I'm sure somebody out there's saying it. Somebody out there's thinking it. But yeah, I think the Chiefs can live with this loss. It's not, I don't think anybody expected them to end the year with only one or two losses. So yeah, we knew they were going to lose at some point. Obviously, it sucks it being to Denver, and having beaten them 16 games in a row. It's just one of those seasons of streaks being broken. I mean, you know how that is, Jake, with the Jets. So maybe we should have. Not to throw a dig on you, but
that was a
just
stray.
not to throw a dig at you. You're okay.
Yeah.
You're fine. You got your win this week. You're living it.
Just joking.
I probably would. I would have felt bad if you had lost this week. But yeah, no, I definitely think the Chiefs are still. We know what the Chiefs are going to do. Like we know who they are. We know that they're like a playoff juggernaut. So
I mean, they're still taking the division, honestly.
Yeah,
it's just that
I think regardless of however their record looks, they make the playoffs, and they arguably are the team to beat in the playoffs, just because of how we know what Mahomes does in the playoffs.
Now they're I'm sorry. No, they're just in a. Now they're in a race for sure. They're stuck right with everybody else.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like the worst thing about the loss this game was it was a division game, I think. But being the Broncos, they're not going to see them later down the field, and that definitely tiebreaker won't matter. But yeah, now it does question their first seed now, though. Just with it being a division game, weighs a little bit heavier, especially if you don't see some of these teams, and I don't think they see the Jaguars or the. I think they saw the Bills. They play the Bills this year. I think they do. They have to.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, but they.
14.
I don't know if they see the Jaguars or the.
They do play
Miami,
the
Jags already.
not the Jags. Yeah, they already played the Jags.
And I don't think they play Baltimore, so it could come to a toss-up. Especially the Jaguars, their division's pretty weak, so I don't see them getting a division loss, so they might just have the tiebreaker over them. But yeah, Mahomes is just going to get healthy. We all know this team goes as far as Mahomes goes.
Yeah.
And for the flu game, it just kind of reminds me of Andrew Hawkins. I don't know if you guys ever saw that interview from a while ago. He was like, I got a fever. Yeah, it was the Browns, but I think he was playing for the Bengals at the time. He was like, I got a fever. And he was like, they had to switch me out of the room, and I played that game, and I was like, I'm gonna be MJ. I had two catches for 15 yards. I fumbled the ball, and we lost.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard to do. MJ's one of a kind. And I mean, Pat Mahomes kind of had that kind of day, but I expect him to bounce back. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, no,
that's how it realistically goes.
Everyone thinks they're MJ until they're out.
Until it's time to be MJ.
Okay, but there's one more game we had, right? Like, I'm sorry, guys.
Just our congratulations.
Yeah,
To
this
the
is
Yes.
just kind of a congratulatory, like, good job, you did it. Panthers and Texans. Panthers get their first win of the year. They're 1-6 now. So, not much to say about the game. Wasn't really that all, you know, entertaining. Real low scoring, lots of field goals. Kind of quiet game from the Texans offensively. Stroud, he didn't didn't have a bad game, but it wasn't great. Didn't have, no touchdowns, just that rushing touchdown. Um, just kind of both teams were real quiet. I definitely think the Panthers, um, they had a decent day. Bryce Young had a pretty good day throwing the ball. They were real quiet in the running game. Hubbard didn't really have that good of a day, and the Texans had a chance to kind of keep it manageable with that 2-point conversion to where they would have, been at 15, and that field goal would have took them to overtime. Just couldn't convert on the 2-point. If they make it, could be a different game in overtime. I have to think that Stroud would have led them to a win. Just, I'd rather bet on Stroud winning the game than Young, but he played a good last drive, and they took it all the way down the field, got him in the field goal range, and kind of tough beat. Can't really do much about that. No timeouts, and they just run the clock, kick the field goal, win the game. So, congrats to the Panthers. It's been a rough start, but they get that win. They're not going to look super bad this year. We'll see if they can get another one. I'm not sure what that schedule looks like, how rough it is for the rest of the year, but
I don't think Panther fans want that. I don't think Panthers fans even wanted the win today.
No, they don't have the
obviously
pick, right?
Yeah,
wait.
they're not really. I don't think they're looking to tank for
They don't have the pick, right? Doesn't the Bears have the pick?
Yeah, the Bears have the first 2 picks.
What the Bears give for that?
I think the Panthers traded up, right?
Yeah. They did.
Yeah, they gave up their picks to get Young. So not really a tank year. I mean, even if they had the pick, which obviously they wouldn't because they took Young.
Yeah.
But let's just say in a hypothetical world, somehow they still had a high pick and they had Bryce Young. I don't think they go for another quarterback. I just feel like you can't.
They don't.
No.
But because the golden child's in this draft, you could sell that pick for a future.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just a tough day for the Texans. I still think they're all right. Still, pretty decent season, and the future's bright for that team. And I still think the Panthers look really rough right now. Just kind of scraped away with one. But yeah, just one of those. Congrats, got your first win. Rookie quarterback got his first win. It had to come at some point. Just sucked that it was against Stroud because I like Stroud.
Yeah, it had to be number 1 overall pick versus
number
2 and number 3 overall pick.
Yeah, the one quarterback and the 2 quarterback. But I definitely think Stroud's proved that he's the best quarterback to come out of that draft. I mean, maybe
you
could make an argument for Richardson, but he's gone now, so you can't really be in that argument anymore.
Hey. We just saw Will Levis. The conversation's just starting.
I don't know about that one. I mean, let's dial back a little bit. If he goes off again next week, I'll say it. All right, he might be legit.
All right. I don't need to hear that anymore.
He might be him.
I'm done joking about that.
All right. Anyway, good game for the Panthers.
Yeah, rookie quarterbacks this year looking pretty good. They're all still trying to figure out what they got. I guess, what they got to surround their quarterback. So we'll see. And then I'm just gonna run down the rest of the games real quick. We'll get to our games obviously afterwards. So battle for New York. Jets defeat the Giants in overtime, 13-10 in a really ugly game. Giants got -9 passing yards on the day, so to tell you, and Saquon got like 40 carries, right?
Damn near,
Yeah,
yeah. I can't
Yeah,
remember what he ended with, but I checked at one point and it was like 36. So
he was being
yeah.
fed.
yeah,
Yes,
36.
I know the ESPN fantasy app didn't even have the name for the backup quarterback for the Giants. It just said unknown player.
Oh damn! I didn't know that.
His last name is
Uh,
DeVito. Just
Yeah,
Danny
Tommy
DeVito,
sticks to
DeVito.
Danny DeVito, yeah.
Mm,
it's his son.
great name.
Danny DeVito at quarterback.
Great name. Bad performance.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then division game, Dolphins beat the Patriots 31-17. Just a bounce back game for the Dolphins. But we're saving that game. My bad. Apology to Isaiah. Brandon's the only one that believed in the Saints. So Saints beat the Colts 38-27 on the road. It's pretty much a shootout, I'd say. So they
Ooh, that.
yeah.
The
Saints
only
got
time you ever get that call. What?
Saints got the win. They look like they're figuring things out, especially offensively. So that's good on their part. Great win from them. Seattle Seahawks beat the Cleveland Browns 24-20. This is another it's a pretty rough game, I would say. Not in a bad way, just like really battling it out. Seahawks scored a late touchdown and get the win. And then, Baltimore Ravens beat the Cardinals 31-24. I have to double check if Lamar Jackson got above 70% completion just to see if I jinxed him or not. I do know that it wasn't as easy if it wasn't. He didn't, right?
18 for 27.
Yeah,
So
I was watching the game. I'm
266.
like, ooh. I was watching the game. I was like, oh
Yeah,
damn,
66.
I jinxed it. So we jinxed it, guys. So congrats. Another one to add
We
to our
just need to
list.
start like manipulating games by making posts about them.
Yeah, next one is Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, you should watch.
Yeah,
Make a post and he won't score a touchdown.
yeah. I mean, that's why I didn't make one about AJ Brown if you didn't know.
You want to save that for the Eagles week.
That's true. Nah, but and then yeah, sorry. It's Sunday night's game. Chargers defeat the Bears 30-13. Wasn't really a contest, honestly. It's kind of just boring to watch if you're not a Chargers fan, obviously. Justin Herbert goes back to being even, 28 wins, 28 losses. So our curse or streak breaker
And he
continues.
finally won.
Yeah,
I
it was
won't
the
say
Bears.
it's, I won't say it's a streak breaker.
Now he just
It
needs
was
to go undefeated the rest of the year.
But I mean, it was the Bears, so I was like, I'm not gonna really put too much into this. I think what people want to see is Herbert Chargers beat the good teams when it counts. So we'll see if he can pull that off later this year, whether against Mahomes or any of the other quarterbacks. And then the last game before we get into ours is the Vikings beat the Packers 24-10. Unfortunately, Kirk Cousins goes down with a non-contact leg injury. It turns out it's looking like it's going to be a torn Achilles. I think more to follow tomorrow for just confirmation, but at least right now it's looking like his season is over with the Vikings. I guess my question is for you guys, where do the Vikings go from here, whether it's this year or even going into next year?
I mean, I think that's the last game we're going to see of Kirk Cousins in a Vikings jersey. In my opinion, I think he's just here to rebuild. I was remaining positive that Justin Jefferson would come back this season. Now it is looking like it shouldn't happen just to keep him healthy. Very young receiver. I know they want to give him another contract. Not Might as well not risk re-injury. Just wait until he gets healthy. maybe you can bring him back toward the end of the season. I don't see a point in it, but yeah, I
Who's
love
this?
Kirk, Justin Jefferson.
Oh,
I
just
think you could, I think you sit him at this point without Kirk, but yeah, I love what Kirk was doing this season. He was in line to get a payday because I know he contract was over this year, but I think he can still get paid. He was on an MVP level, I think, at least stat wise. It was kind of up there with the rest of them, just not wins. But yeah, I think Vikings start to enter rebuild.
Yeah, kind of sticky because I mean we were like at the beginning we were like, oh, Vikings are, it looks like this is going to be a rough season, and then they started to turn it around, and they looked like they were really kind of in the playoff picture at one point. This might change that, obviously, because the backup couldn't even name him. Um, I think, really, like Braden said, I don't think. Yeah, I think this is Kirk Cousins done. I mean, we pretty much have been hearing from the Vikings camp that yeah, they were going to stick him out this season. Obviously coming into the year there were trade talks, but they decided to stick it out with him. But it sounded like this was likely going to be his last season with them. Um, I definitely think, like I said, they were in the playoff picture. It could have been a good year. Obviously, I don't think they were looking, Super Bowl or anything, but a decent playoff run. Justin Jefferson injury really hurt. Looked like he could have come, was going to come back, and they would have, probably could have won without him, and they were winning without him. But yeah, their season's pretty much done now without him, without Kirk. The only thing that I could maybe see feasible is somehow I don't know what QBs are out on the market right now for trade. I don't see any package or any veteran QB that really they would even try to shoot for. Because I mean, it wouldn't make sense honestly anymore at this point. So I can't. Could they win with the backup? I don't know. I'd have to bet against it being. I'd have to bet against it and say no. So, um, as much as I
That's
would
what
love to see Justin Jefferson on the football field, just because he's a great receiver, I personally don't because I traded away in fantasy. So this definitely makes me feel a little better about that trade. But yeah, just a tough beat for the Vikings because it looked like they were gonna, they were swinging it back and they could have made a good run to make the playoffs. But yeah, that pretty much went out the window with the Kirk injury, unfortunately. But yeah, if they're looking to rebuild, future's still pretty bright for them. I think maybe they look for obviously they need another quarterback, and I think they might need to improve the running back because I don't think you want to have Madison be your RB1 going forward, or Cam Akers. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe some other people feel differently. I can't imagine why, but there's some people out there. You'd be surprised. But yeah, Jordan Addison, I think future's bright. Justin Jefferson still pretty young, so they just need to kind of fill in that QB running back, and then obviously work on the defense and kind of help the O line a
That
little
O
bit too. Yeah,
that O line needs a lot of help.
yeah. But yeah, I think right now probably the biggest thing, biggest question is a quarterback because Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins has done right by them, just from what he's been able to do with what he had. When you have a receiver like Justin Jefferson, you're going to put up numbers. But yeah, just tough for the Vikings. It's crazy after we just watched him go nuts against the Niners. Where Kirk go chains, he's back, and then he just that's tough on a non-contact too. That's just rough.
Yeah, I really became a big Kirk Cousins fan after the quarterback documentary. I was like, all right, I like this guy. He's a total dad. I like him. But
I've
no,
been on the
yeah,
Kirk train.
I know you have. He's in my division, so I mean, you can't blame me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was for a while, So, but no, yeah, I guess that's a question I was actually going to bring up. They're like right in the middle of the pack. They're not like
Yeah,
towards the bottom. They're 4-4. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all think the Lions are going to win. So maybe they're not going to win the division, but I think they're obviously still in the running for a wild card spot. So the only quarterbacks I could think of, if they're still confident, in the team that they can still get a wild card spot, would be like Kobe Brissett or even Ryan Tannehill when he comes back. It's the only quarterbacks I can think of. But like,
yeah,
obviously, that's not their long-term answer.
yeah. Because
But
at
they're
that
also,
point, it
yeah,
almost doesn't make any sense to go for a
yeah,
quarterback to try to save the playoff run. Because you're not winning this year. And then if you
yeah,
try, if they try too hard to make the playoffs, could impact their future picks. So.
yeah. But even right now, they're kind of. I know it doesn't seem like they're far, but they're pretty far from like number one overall pick, maybe even top five because they already got 4 wins.
Well, let's look at this. Let's look at um, real quick. Let me pull it up.
I think they're still in that. I mean, I think they're still projected now in that maybe top 10 range, which
Top 10 is doable, I can say. Yeah,
yeah, which isn't. You're not going to give up the biggest haul and move up a little bit earlier. I mean,
Yeah,
you're not trading up to 1 from there, but you can trade. There's a good amount of QBs in this draft, so you could move up to like 2 or 3 spots and still take one of those top end QBs.
because realistically, if we're looking at their schedule, right? Let's say they they're not looking to even make an attempt, right? They don't make a move on a trade for a quarterback, and they stick
yeah.
with the backup. Are we even considering them winning another game the rest of the year? Because I mean, besides like kind of the dud teams here, maybe they got another matchup with
Bears,
Packers.
yeah.
the Bears
Bears.
and another matchup with Green Bay. But other than that, there aren't really any. I mean, they had the Broncos, but I don't think the Broncos are that bad where they can't beat the Vikings without Kirk Cousins.
I wouldn't put that past the Broncos.
I mean, yeah, obviously I wouldn't put
But,
it past them, but I'm just like
yeah, yeah. Odds
assuming,
wise,
Yeah.
yeah, you would have you wouldn't be able to bet against the Broncos against Vikings without Kirk. I couldn't. I don't know. Maybe some people can, but just
I
looking at it
yeah.
realistically. So I
I
mean,
probably
obviously, it's not unlikely they get a win, but I think if you're really just playing the odds, there's a chance they don't win another game this year. Because I think they beat the Niners off of Kirk's play, and they've been winning games off of Kirk. I think so.
Yeah.
I was the first one in line to call him MVP.
I
He
still would
was.
have called
I
him MVP.
mean,
He was up there.
I wasn't
He was
saying he
a
was
candidate.
MVP, but he was going on. He was going crazy. Like the
He
numbers were
was,
there.
but
The numbers were there.
he's missing the most important thing though.
Yeah, it's not his fault, man. He doesn't
I'm
have
not
no
saying it
offensive
is.
line, no run
I
game, no
I ain't
defense.
saying it
He's
is,
trying.
but that's the most important thing. It's wins.
He's just the father of 2 trying to make a living. I think 2. He has 2 kids, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
He has 2. Well, yeah, I don't see them winning. They might have a chance against the Bears. If Justin Jefferson comes back, I would probably put the Vikings as a favorite just because of Justin Jefferson. But yeah, I
Well,
think
then
that's it.
I guess that might be another question: is how likely do we see Jefferson playing again?
He said he wants to
Because
play.
yeah,
Because
obviously we know he wants to play, right? That's not a question is if he wants to play. Because I mean, who wouldn't want to play, right? And yeah, at the end of the day, it's a business, but still, I mean, most players, they
he's
love
still
the game,
he's,
they want to play, right? No one wants to sit on the sideline and watch, regardless of whether you're winning or losing.
he's still chasing records
Yeah,
too.
So looking at the schedule right now, I said I have about 4 or 5 somewhat winnable. So that's the Broncos, the Bears,
Yeah.
the Raiders. If you want to say the Packers, you can. And
in Las
we
Vegas, Raiders.
yeah.
I'm not
And
giving. They have a chance, but not.
last one is
Okay.
Lions, but that's the final week. So if they're locked in the
Sitting.
seating, they could sit guys.
Yeah, but what's how the NFC picture looking right now? They look like they're fighting for number one, so I don't know if they're gonna rest that week 18. But I get what you
Yeah.
mean.
But yeah. No, I
Good.
understand. Yeah. So I guess it'll depend on what Detroit's record looks like.
I still think backup Detroit wins that game.
Yeah, it would be nice to see some Hendon Hooker. That would be kind of interesting.
Ooh.
I was gonna say, yeah, I want to see him get that
That
rookie
would be
out there.
that would be an interesting. I feel like he kind of sucks. He went to the Lions, not being able to see him pretty much. Kind of just. I mean, I get it as like a a pick to have insurance for if God gets hurt, but would have been nice to see him as a starter. Just because this was definitely an interesting QB class. If we had all the prime QBs starting, because I definitely feel like he was one of those that could have been
Oh,
a
he was
starter
good.
somewhere. Yeah.
Fortunately, he tore his ACL during the college season, so that's probably why. Definitely why he fell. I should say.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. The Vikings is definitely gonna be an interesting one. As much as I don't want Jefferson to come back, just so like for my own like
Sanity.
peace of mind. Yeah.
Selfish.
I'm sorry. Okay. I traded
I
him
want to.
away because this is what I expected.
I have him in no fantasy leagues, but I just love watching him play.
I mean, yeah, obviously he's good football, but
Yeah. And other than that, I'm not watching a Vikings game if he's not there.
yeah.
If him and Kirk
I
ain't there,
mean,
I'm not.
yeah, as the Vikings, like, if you're really, really, like, it makes sense not to play. Just to protect him, save him, let him heal up, let him come back healthy, and then, rebuild and hope for next year, right?
Or you get the tape pot and you trade that man after the season. I mean, what are you paying him for? I mean, he is the best receiver in the league. You
Oh,
would
yeah,
get a
he's for
haul for
sure,
that.
like,
You can give him a 5-year contract, but what are you doing with the team after that? You don't have young pieces. You're middle of the pack right now, so you're not even getting the greatest draft picks to refill on talent. You
yeah.
haven't traded away pieces to bring in more draft picks later in the future, so
Yeah, the Vikings are in such a crap spot right
yeah.
now, especially since they decided to, like, all right, we're going to make it like a early mid-season run,
Mhm.
and then the Kirk injury just kills it.
I see you
They
trade him
really,
after the year.
they really should be sellers before the deadline. Trade everyone that they can. What I mean is like Daniel Hunter, Jordan
Hunter,
Hicks,
yeah.
Yeah, you trade everyone.
somebody else. I'm like, I don't know.
And then you let Justin Jefferson come back in
Somebody else.
3 weeks
Never mind.
and build that tape up and you trade him in the offseason.
Build that tape up. I don't think you need to build the tape up. You know what
If
he's
you're
worth.
trading, if he's trading
Mhm.
Jefferson, then your best bet is to move up with Jefferson as a
Yeah, you
trade
could.
piece. That's the
Yeah,
best bet. Yeah, it's not gonna happen, obviously.
you could. I don't know. Move
I
up,
don't think
and
the
you could
Vikings.
probably get a future first still.
I don't think the Vikings GM is that smart. Sorry,
Oh, but
I mean, I
but
like Addison.
that would
I
be a
like
cool
Addison
move.
for the
That'd be
future.
cool.
So
I like
That'd be
Addison. They
ballsy.
still have him for 4 more years, so
That'd be a ballsy move. I respect it. I'll be honest with you.
I would
You're
respect it
trading up
too.
for like Caleb Williams. I'd be like, oh, I respect it.
Would you get another draft pick in return though? You think if they traded up from 10 to 1 to get Caleb Williams and they threw Justin Jefferson, you think they would want another pick in return?
well, I mean, realistically, Justin Jefferson. I mean, how
I feel
many
like
firsts is he worth?
at least
I
two.
feel like he's worth
Yeah,
At
three.
two
least.
minimum. I
At
feel
least
like.
two minimum. At least.
You're getting the number one receiver in his prime. I'm saying 3 minimum. Didn't
Well,
Jalen just go for 2?
I'm saying that because Devontae Adams and Tyreek both got what? Was it 2 1s? No, was it? It was a one. It was a one and more. It wasn't two
Well,
twos.
it was like a
Two
1 in
ones.
the second. But both of those players are not in their primes. Tyreek's already
Exactly.
was in there for 8 years. Jefferson's only his, what, 4th year, 5th year coming into it next year?
That's why I said minimum two. At least two once.
Oh, no. I think minimum 3. Unless it's the
I
first
mean,
overall, then
he's
minimum
worth
2.
whatever a team's willing to pay for him at the end of the day. So.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
Yeah, no, it should
Definitely.
be.
We'll revisit this during draft season. Players that I don't know could fetch a big jump. in the draft order.
I mean,
Invisible.
if there's any player that should be, it's Justin Jefferson.
No, for sure. That'll be interesting. I kind of want to see it happen, even though it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, probably not, but I
Probably
would
not
love to
now.
see it. It would shake up the NFL.
Oh, that would be nuts. I want that to happen so badly now.